In this video, we're going to look at inventory as well as inventory strategy and how it's used across the supply chain, how it's monitored, as well as how it is managed. So let's talk first about what is inventory and inventory strategy. Inventory are the critical components of the supply chain that are used to build the product. It impacts the efficiency and the profitability of the business, and we'll talk about some key points about their usage, monitoring, and strategy. Inventory strategy is looking at how the inventory will be used, for what functions, in what way, and what goals we're trying to accomplish. So let's look at the usage of inventory and strategy across the supply chain. Inventory is used to ensure that products are readily available to meet customer demand without causing delays or stockouts. Without raw material inventory, you can't build. Inventory strategy is used to determine the optimal levels of inventory to be held at each stage of the supply chain, taking into account factors such as lead time, demand variability, and cost of holding inventory. So we want to have the inventory in the right place at the right time. Inventory is used not only for finished goods, but for raw materials as well, work in process items, and spare parts. Again, without inventory, we can't build our product. Inventory can be managed at different stages of the supply chain as well, including suppliers, at the manufacturer, a distributor if you have it, and the retail level. Now, looking at the monitoring and managing of inventory across the supply chain, we monitor regularly the inventory levels to make sure they're aligned with customer demand and supply objectives. Again, we don't want too little, we don't want too much. We're trying to balance those. Inventory management systems and tools such as ERP software, barcoding, RFID, we're using those to track inventory levels, location, movement, transactions, making sure we know at any one time what inventory we have and where it's being used. Inventory management techniques such as just-in-time, vendor-managed inventory can also be used to optimize inventory levels and reduce costs, as well as meet what the customer needs are. Now, inventory accuracy is critical for effective inventory management, and cycle counting, physical inventory audits are used to ensure that inventory records are accurate. So accuracy is made up of timeliness of the transaction as well as the correctness of the transaction, and without that, we don't know what we have. We also use inventory performance metrics such as inventory turnover, days of supply, carrying costs, and we use those to monitor and evaluate the effectiveness of inventory management strategies. Let's move over then to why inventory and inventory strategy is important. They're important because they're critical to the success of the business, critical to the supply chain. So let's look at some key points about their importance. Inventory is a significant investment for a business, and effective inventory management can reduce costs, increase profitability, but again, by having the right thing in the right place. The strategy part will help us balance the cost of holding inventory with the risk of stockouts and lost sales by not having the inventory, which ultimately, if we balance that, should result in optimal inventory levels. Inventory management also improves customer service by making sure products are available when customers want them, which can lead to increased satisfaction and loyalty by the customer too. Inventory management, or effective inventory management, also can reduce lead times and improve our responsiveness to customer demand and get us faster delivery times. Inventory management can also enhance our visibility across the supply chain, allowing the business to identify issues and opportunities to improvement within the supply chain to make the supply chain better. Additionally, proper inventory management reduces waste, reduces excess inventory, which, if you think about it from an ESG standpoint, is much more environmentally friendly, and it can save costs associated with disposal, returns, etc. So good inventory management practices can increase a business's competitiveness and enable it to respond more effectively to changing market conditions. Now, going to the next slide here then, to add on to it, let's look at the monitoring and managing part of inventory. Monitoring and managing enables businesses to respond to changes in demand, prevent stockouts therefore, or overstocking on the other side. Effective inventory management can reduce the cost of holding inventory by optimizing the inventory level, getting it to the right place, and thereby reducing waste. It helps businesses identify efficiency so we can improve the operations, reduce costs, making sure everything's moving smoothly. We can also increase the accuracy of any financial reporting, therefore less risk of errors, financial losses, any surprises when year end comes. Now, it can also enhance customer satisfaction by making sure that the products are delivered on time in the right quantities. And lastly, we can increase the overall efficiency and profitability, which is going to make us not only financially successful, but able to reinvest and become more competitively advantaged. Jumping over now to the third and the last section here is what is the impact on all this? There's positives and negatives like you see on the screen here. So we can, again, improve customer service, making sure products are available when customers want them, making them more happy, more loyal, willing to return. Having the right inventory in the right place can reduce lead times, making us more responsive to customer demand, therefore having faster deliveries. It can enhance visibility by, again, allowing us to identify issues and opportunities for improvement. Now, we've said that 3 times in each of the sections. We've said it once, and visibility is important because that's where supply chain's going, is positioning inventory in the right place to respond better. This allows us to reduce holding costs, therefore increase profitability, making us more competitive and responding to changing market conditions faster. And finally, and last, as an example, it again, accuracy of financial reporting, risk of errors, financial losses. Nobody likes a surprise at year end because we didn't account for inventory loss or any assets that we didn't realize we had or had lost. Now, on the negative side, we tie up capital, we tie up space, which results in unnecessary costs, reduced profitability, can lead to stockouts and lost sales, less happy customers, less revenue. Customers may not come back if we get a reputation of not knowing or not having what we say we have. So it can lead out to mismanagement of inventory which can be increased costs, decreased profitability. Because we don't trust our inventory, we might carry more safety stock, which ties up money. Now again, it can result in increased waste, has the negative environmental impact, and all those associated costs with disposal, returns, repositioning, carbon footprint from the transportation impact aspect of it, as we look at that kind of issue. Now, inventory management can be complex also, requiring significant resources and expertise, because the more places we have inventory, the more inventory we have, it makes managing it more difficult, trying to make sure we have the right thing in the right place. So that can increase costs, reduce profitability if we don't have policies and procedures in place to manage effectively. And so lastly, and just as important, it can result in supply chain disruptions if we don't plan and execute adequately.